Hello, YouTube. Welcome to my channel, Marriage, Politics, and Sports. I'm going to give you the 13th episode of my Let the Women Tell It series. Today, we'll be talking about how the modern marriage is a legal and economic raw deal for men. It's been brewing that way for quite some time. And before we get started, like and share this video. Add your comments and we can discuss what you hear here today, whether you agree or whether you disagree. Let's discuss it in the chat section. And also subscribe to my channel. Hit the notification bell because I'm gonna have more and more videos coming your way on a variety of topics, relationships, politics, and sports. So without further ado, it's undeniable that men take a huge risk by marrying women who are not equally yoked financially. Um, in my day, since I've been married for so long, back in the day in the 80s, marriages kind of tended to stay until death do you part. So we didn't worry about as much a woman taking us to the cleaners and leaving us destitute. But as the years gone by and as women started coming the workforce, the laws still are draconian and it's still based on like early 1900s kind of situations where women used to get used up and men used to leave them. But that's no longer true. It's no longer true. In fact, that the paternity laws are still based on old English law that's 500 years old, that the presumption of paternity is on a man, even if the kid is not his. If he doesn't fight that early enough, he could be paying child support for children who are not his, and the system will know it, right? They say upwards to 30% of the children born to even married couples don't belong to the husband. So women are, uh, all the laws are in the favor of women. They naturally get custody of the children. Along with that, they get child support. And even if you have an ironclad prenup, depending on the judge will penalize men by putting outrageous amounts of money for child support, which is essentially a way to get alimony for the woman. Um, there's a Kevin Costner was going to have to pay his wife $250,000 a month for child support. It's outrageous. It's egregious. It's just a bad freaking deal. And so this is this woman. I just ran across a video of this doctor, and she has a book out, Helen Smith, and she's doing an interview. And this is 9 years ago. And I'm gonna let you see the video. It's not that long, around 4 minutes. I might stop it in between. And there's a surprise interviewer on the video, and I'm not gonna say his name right now, but you're gonna be able to recognize him, and then you'll know. But anyway, without further ado, we're gonna let the woman tell it and how she sees how bad a deal marriage is for men from a woman's perspective. Because men talk about this all the time and nobody gives a shit, right? Women don't care. But when you start hearing a woman tell it, it kind of rings a little differently. That's why I started this series. And people could deny it, but women need to hear certain ratchetness from other women in terms of the, disagreement with the ratchetness from other women. So without further ado, I'm going to stop sharing here and we're going to go to video. And of course, you guys know I am an advocate for marriage. All right. Fair use, fair use.
Mr. Wright. Well, ladies, he may be hard to find because men are apparently going on strike, boycotting marriage, among many other things.
According to a recent study, the importance of marriage has gone up for the women up to 37% and down for men to 29%. Here to explain the trend is forensic psychologist and author of the controversial book Men on Strike. Dr. Helen Smith is here this morning. Doctor, nice to see you this morning.
Nice to see you. Thank you for having me on.
We were having a bit of a discussion about this last weekend
I saw
on
that
the show, and the argument is what? That men simply are giving up hope on marriage because they're feeling beaten down?
No, I don't think they're giving up on hope on marriage. I think what they're doing is they're looking at it, the cost reward. Men look at things in terms of cost analysis, and the penalties for marriage are so high and the rewards now are so low. First of all, there's legal costs of marriage. There are so many men now who are just saying, you know what, it's just not worth it to me. I'm going to be stuck paying the alimony. I'm going to be stuck paying for child support. And it's not just legal reasons. It's also psychological ones where men feel that basically they don't really have rights in marriage. Women hold all the cards now in reproduction and all kinds of things, and men don't.
Well, that's all true. I mean, I agree with that completely. But it still doesn't absolve men of the responsibility to stop.
Can everybody guess who's the man talking right now? Look how young he looks.
Complaining
Okay.
about how the cards are against them and man up and become men, because you don't become a man until you assume responsibility.
What man would take such a raw deal? I don't consider that a man.
Well, it's not a raw deal. You derive deep satisfaction as a man by taking responsibility for other people. That's the only place you get deep satisfaction.
Simping hard.
So men are supposed to take a really bad deal and sign their rights away, and you call that a good deal. Look, you would understand economic
Well,
rewards.
I did.
You did. Well, that's good, and maybe you have a really good wife, but a lot of men don't feel that way.
But see, Doctor, here's where I get confused. And forgive me, I just went to a wedding last night, so I'm feeling all loved up.
Euphoric.
Very, because it was beautiful. And anytime that you do see a wedding, that the hope is renewed, and it does remind you of what's great about marriage. And so you act as though marriage is such a raw deal for men, but you do get companionship, and you get love, and you get a family. And I see men enjoying all of that and embracing all of that.
That's a different topic. Those are also things that you can get with a relationship. We're talking about the legal aspect of marriage. I'm talking about the political and the legal ramifications of marriage, where men aren't getting such a good deal there. And there are thousands of men across the country that I've spoken to and that will tell you differently. And the statistics are bearing that out. A lot of men, you think men need to man up, but to man up, you have to be getting something out of that relationship. What you're saying is that men are getting something just by having a woman. They're just so
but
lucky.
here's the thing. They're allowed. The one thing I agree with you on is men are getting away with having children without marrying the woman.
They're not getting away with it. What's happening is a lot of women, number one, don't want them. The lower level women, what's happening is 40% of the women who are breadwinners, a lot of those lower level women are making $17,000 to $23,000. Those women use the government to pay for themselves. They don't want a man. So rather than some men are just opting.
Why hasn't a man written this book? Why hasn't a man written this book?
Because men can't speak up. I'm here to speak up because people will actually listen to a woman. It's really unfortunate. I want the next man, and I'm hoping by this book that next man is out there.
What's frustrating? Hold on, I want to say something as a man, because this always has frustrated me when I see commercials when men sort of speak up, they're acting like men, right? And all these commercials are out there where the man's like the lazy guy on the couch.
He's a tool.
But look what the culture is doing to the men. Culture is telling men, you are no good. You are no good in marriage. You are no good. Even you all are here saying man up to men, and that's a really negative message to be sending to men.
But what do you think the solution is?
The solution is for us to have fair laws and things for men, and to also these commercials. We need to look at the culture and say, you know what? Quit treating men like trash. Seriously, we treat men very poorly in this society, from all the way from men who don't want to go to college anymore because there are many things in college that go on. It is a female-dominated place where men are not treated in a way that is fair. It's easy to sit here and say, as high-level men and women, that things are going well for you, but I've seen many men who are average, lower, and even higher-level men who aren't having such a good time.
Yeah.
And if you read my book, you might understand a little bit more about.
The book is called Men on Strike. It is compelling, and I think you make a compelling argument.
An awful lot of people.
There you go. So let me stop it there. Right there, of course, you could see that was Tucker Carlson sitting on the couches before. I guess he really hit pay dirt, but she is absolutely on point. You know, men are still getting married, men are still taking the chances, but every week we hear another man getting destroyed by a woman, financially, losing his children, based on allegations, based on anything. We got the recent Kiki Palmer debacle, so she don't have to pay child support to the man, so she accused him of abuse where there's no proof. So it's just one of those kind of things. You know, so I tell you, you know, it's good to let the women tell it sometime, and it's great to listen to. Our pain, marriage, politics, and sports. Over and out.